half-life is the amount of time it takes you to use up half of a reactant. So for example, if I started with 4 moles of a reactant, the half-life would be whatever time it took me to go from the 4 moles down to 2 moles. And if I kept going, I could see a second half-life going from 2 moles down to 1 mole. We're going to look and see how that differs when you're looking at a half-life of a first order versus a second versus a zero order. So I have the integrated rate laws for first, second, and zero order reactions. So for the first one, let's say I'm going to look at going from 4 moles down to 2 moles. So this is my concentration at the initial. This is my concentration after the half-life has passed by, and I would solve for T. So I know there's that trick where if I'm doing natural log of one thing minus natural log of another, I can really just say natural log of this divided by that. And if I went from 4 down to 2, well, that's 2 over 4, that's 1/2. And if I looked at the second half-life, I'd be going from 2 down to 1. 1 over 2, that's 1/2. So regardless of whatever concentration I start with, I'm always going to have natural log of 1/2 equals negative kT for first order reaction. That's what's special about first order. The length of the half-life is constant. The first half-life is just as long as the second half-life, which is just as long as any other half-life for a reaction. In a second order, let's see what happens. Let's say I'm going to go from that 4 moles, so I'm starting at 4 moles, and I'm going to go until I'm down to 2 moles. So in this case, I have 1/2 minus 1/4 equals kT. And let's look at the second half-life for this one. I'll be going from having 2 moles down to having 1 mole. So equal to kT. Okay, in this case, I'm going 1/2 minus 1/4 is a quarter. So I have a quarter equals kT for that first half-life when I would solve for the time. And the second one, I have 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2 equals kT. So I can see that since this k is constant, the time is going to change. So it's a different length of time for the half-life when it's a second order. Then looking at the zero order, let's see, I'll go from 4 down to 2. So 2 minus 4 equals negative kT. And we'll continue to see how that compares with the second half-life, going from 2 down to 1. So 1 minus 2 equals negative kT. And we can see that the time's not going to be constant in this one either. Again, the k is constant. So here I have 2 minus 4, negative 2 equals negative kT. And then here negative 1 equals negative kT. So if k is staying the same, that means the time must be changing. And that's true. So what happens is for a first order, as you are decreasing the concentration of your reactants, you're also decreasing the rate of the reaction. And that's why it takes the same amount of time to go from 1/2, from the first half-life to the second half-life. And then in a second order reaction, I'm decreasing concentration, and that's decreasing the rate exponentially. So those half-lives are getting longer and longer. It's going to take more time to go from the first half-life to the second. So the second half-life would be longer than the first. And in a zero order, the concentration doesn't affect the rate. So I'm going from having 1 mole down to 1/2. That's losing 1/2 of a mole. And then I'm going from 1/2 mole down to 1/4. That's losing 1/4 of a mole. So you're using up fewer and fewer reactants as your half-life progresses. But the rate's happening at the exact same rate, so the half-lives are getting shorter.